Silva in Los Banos, California. Third generation in dairy business. My father had this before and he was ill at a very young age and I took over. My brother and my mother. Time went on and started AI. A gentleman by the name of Lloyd Vieira approached me probably about 50 years ago, early 60s, late 60s. He drove in, I remember, I didn't know the man, I always knew his name a little bit. I knew him, yes. So anyway, we got talking, he says, Bob, he called me, he says, hey, for $1, that's all you need to do. He says, give me $1 and you become a member of AWSS. I says, hey, I can't go wrong with that. He told me, you get dividends, whatnot. So ever since Lloyd Vieira, I've been a member of AWSS. And thank you, Lloyd. When I got selected to the AWSS board of directors, they always say, well, we got to go back to select sire. And who was going to go back to represent the board, who was going to go back there to go to the annual meeting, select sire. And finally, after a few years, I got to go back. And I guess it's part of a challenge too. When we went back there, AWSS, there was, I think that time, there was like 12 different organizations. And we were kind of like the black sheep. I mean, the other organizations didn't want to talk to us too much. It's kind of like, I don't know if we didn't take a shower right or what, but I got, they didn't start asking what's wrong. And he says, well, they just always worried about AWSS because we had the numbers. We had the milk volume and all this. But as time went on, I think before you know it, they start drinking with them. And I think there was a big change in that part in the Select Sire organization. We didn't have no hard times financially because people that selected the AI bulls were just dominating in the numbers. And so we've always did good revenue and made a lot of money. It helped our company very much. One of the other challenges we had was trying to get other dairymen to come with us. And I think it was just a matter of, there are a lot of good salesmen out there, but a lot of us was due to us dairymen, just the word of mouth. It's kind of like maybe in your community or so, a new restaurant opens up. If it's good food, it's done well, you say, hey, you got to go try it. And I, as a dairyman, would tell other fellow dairymen, different places, you need to join AWSS. Get more members in, it was a challenge way back then. We didn't have the number of cows, times. Breeding, you can select a certain bull, and big percentage you get a female. That I think to me was a big improvement in the AI breed. To breed with AI and then you're almost guaranteed a female. It really helps your future crop and get genetics back in your herd real fast. Well, again, go back to our genetics. I was just told yesterday that new proofs came out. We have several bulls that exceed right there at the top, and it's kind of like, to get to the Super Bowl in football, everybody wants to get there, but AWSS, I think, is one for many years been right on top in the genetics. The genetics down the road, I don't know where it just doesn't stop. There's always another bloodline that does real well, crosses with this other one, and the people that do the selecting look for these, they're the ones that they see future there. It's it's kind of like looking at that, what is it, I'd say, I guess, into the foresight. It's ahead of your future, you know. And the dairy industry is going to be a lot different. Oh yeah, there's going to be very few of us. Be a small number. I had the great opportunity to serve under 3 managers in my time. I think I was under 20-some years. Archie Nelson was the first one, and Harold Kaplan, and now Jim Wells. Yeah. So I was quite honored to serve with all 3 of them, and learned a lot from them, and respect their thinking and their wisdom, and a lot of good leadership they gave us. There was a time there that, we started, I think, with 4 board members from California. And then as the numbers grow, you can see the dollars, the semen usage, then we got to put another board member on. And Washington always had 4. And then there, some years ago, their numbers decreased as far as dairy herds. So they lost a board member. I know there was a few old board members there that didn't like that too well, you know, because they were used to having. And, you know, they start thinking, well, are we down here in California going to outvote everything else, you know? And that never happened. You know, it's, thank goodness, one area didn't try to be the muscle part of the organization. And that's one thing I noticed. We all work together, you know. We're not just for ourselves, we're for the members out there. That's what this organization's for the dairymen, you know. Being on the board, I couldn't wait for the next meeting because it was a matter of seeing one person from a long ways up north, down south. And, you know, I remember that was one thing they said all the time, and it's family affair, you know. And naturally, nowadays, large dairies, you know, still family oriented, but that's what it was. I mean, it was very, very close. You got to know individuals real well. That's something I really enjoyed in the annual meetings because I can remember seeing husband and wife that come and they had their small children. I mean, they had their little dolls, and 10 years later, that was home with dolls. She was a teenager. And time goes on, and it's nice to see that growth, you know. And I really enjoyed the annual meetings. That was something that was kind of something always stayed in my mind that I waited for. And the board members couldn't ask for better people, you know. Yeah, it's very nice. I was real blessed to start young and stay there and meet a lot of good people. Yeah. When I retired, when I stepped aside, Dennis Arrayas took my position as a director of our district, and he was my alternate. And then Brett, my son, moved in as an alternate. Every year they would honor the employees, and I think that was the first couple years I was just stunned on. They have the 5-year ones, they honor them 10, and I mean it went on 15, 20, 35, and I don't know, I think there was a 40 there one time, and I remember telling some of the fellows I rode with, I says, you know, it's quite an organization to have somebody employed for 25 plus 30 years, you know, and it's some great achievement, and I'd probably, my hat's off got to be the managers and the employees for being so loyal to our company. And for those who are still with us or have been passed, I thank you very much. That was something that really probably stayed in my mind every time I'd go to the meeting, come back, and I said, boy, that she or he, they worked for us that long. I'm sure other companies have the same thing, but we had so many of them down the road, you know, that you get 30 years working the same place. It's pretty nice. When we travel from California to go to Washington, normally as our annual meeting, our board meetings, several of us would fly from different places, and we usually meet in Seattle, and we rent a car, drive over to Burlington. And one gentleman right off the bat, I said I ride with him, is Norm Martin. He's in Oregon, and Norm always used to like to smoke a cigar, and the man always had a white shirt all the time in a meeting, you know. But very aggressive individual. But he stood out to me because he always had a cigar in a meeting, and we had no board. Well, there's the original board meeting, and a lot of us didn't smoke. So we used to kind of tell him, hey, you know, Norm, you got to put that cigarette out, or you know, that cigar out. Hey, he'd puff on it, and then finally put it out. So it seemed like after a year or two, I remember going to their board, and here's this for the smoke. It's a purifier to draw the smoke out. So I think it's Harold Catlin, and it was manager. He put it in, and we told Harold off the side, he should never put that because we thought we were going to get him to quit. So he continued on smoking, but I remember he always had a cigar, and very instrumental in ideas. He was very aggressive. I really enjoyed serving with him. Norm was sitting on the passenger side, and it was a last minute deal. We were in I-5 or so. We're getting in there in Seattle, and I started stay on the left side, and they said, no, you gotta go to the right to get, you know, stay on the main highway. And I don't know how I came from hitting those look like garbage barrels, you know, the orange ones. And Norm's hollering, and he's reaching because he's thinking of his car, I guess Cadillac. He said, oh, you gotta get a Cadillac or something about it next time. And he went to reach for an arm deal. He went to pull like this. And I don't know, I can't remember what happened to the cigar. Yeah. But that was, I don't know how I kept it, because someone said, it was Pete, said, hey, no, don't stay left, you gotta get to the right. So the last minute I turned and looked into a car there, I don't know. Yeah. When I first attended the first meeting up there in Washington, somewhere I hit it off. I don't know. I think I was an alternate. I got to be an alternate on the board. And a gentleman by Mr. John DeGroot, which is today's Peter, his son, got the dairy in there in Fresno. But Mr. DeGroot always smoked a pipe too. And somewhere I hit it off with him good, and he took a liking to me and put in some good words, and before I know it, I got on the board, executive board. So I thank very much John DeGroot. Yeah. That was the gentleman that stood out, probably number one for me. Yeah. I can't say that one, no. You know, it used to give me a bad time. A lot of the board members could see, like say we travel back together to the airport, and we each get a different plane with different ways. So there in when we go in the springtime, April, there in Burlington, that's when they have the tulip festival, beautiful flowers. So after a few years, I start going out the field. We'd go out there and buy them, and then bring them home. So that kind of, I think the second year when I did that, you know, the guy said, hey, it was a lucky woman, you know. So I'd buy it for home, my mother, retirement. I'd buy, I don't know, godmother. But I'd bring a bunch home. But yeah, they used to give me a bad time about that. Then, I don't know, a few others started, but I used to do that every springtime. And but you guys would always say, hey, are you sure they're going home? So when they see Diane, they got to make sure she got the flowers. And this doesn't sound good. And she does not like flowers. Everybody asked me, I was at a doing yesterday, somebody asked me, you retired? And I said, no, I'm just tired. Well, I'm still in the business. I'm still here. Still got my hands on it. I'm with my son, my youngest son, Brett. And he kind of likes when I take off hunting for a week or two, or we don't vacation too much, maybe just for a few days we leave. But I'm still involved. Every day I seem like I go by the heifer pins. I don't go in the dairy barn every day, but I'm still involved in farming. I still go out and do some irrigating. I'll be leaving tomorrow morning. Probably number one priority other than the dairy. I like to hunt, and we're going to have a little deer club up here. We're going to go deer hunting. Always in the winter time, we go up, the whole family, all our children, everybody, grandchildren, go to Lake Tahoe. We get to go skiing if there's snow, and we spend a good week there. We have 7 grandchildren and 1 girl. She's the princess. We're fortunate that so far we're not scattered out yet, and so we can get together on the holidays.
Are any of your grandkids interested in the dairy business?
No, I could say this one here. In fact, he's been working now with me. The oldest one goes to college. No, he's not into cattle. He had cattle at the fair. He showed dairy. The little guy, 5 years old, he cares less about a cow. He don't even look at them. And he loves the tractors, so he's gonna be probably a farmer if anything. He loves tractors, any kind of piece of equipment, he goes crazy. If I was going to pick somebody right now to take over, my granddaughter lives here on the ranch. She's 10. The rest of them, they're all into something else. Yeah. But that's a long ways away.